breaking news from KXAN News.
Hey, good morning. That breaking news out of San Antonio overnight. The chief of police there say 7 officers are in the hospital after a shooting. Good morning, I'm Erica Brennis.
And I'm Tom Miller. Police initially said that shooting injured 4 officers, but that increased overnight to 7. This is in North San Antonio in the Stone Oak area. Police Chief Bill McManus saying the officers were responding to a suicide in progress call right before 9 last night. A family member called police expressing concern. The chief saying the man had previous run-ins with officers.
Suspect had 3 arrests on January 18th, 2 for assaultive offenses and 1 for DWI. He was out on bond at the time.
Investigators found the suspect dead where he barricaded himself inside an apartment. Police say he injured all 7 officers, and the suspect is not being identified but is described as a man in his 40s. It's unknown if the shooter died from responding officers or if it was self-inflicted.
There's also an Amber Alert coming out of San Antonio for missing 3-year-old Chandler Baker. He was last seen at noon yesterday in northwest San Antonio. He may be with Samantha Castaneda. If you have any information, please call 911.
First warning weather with meteorologist Kristen Curry.
Well, good morning and happy Thursday. Let's begin with a live look outside, taking you out to Marble Falls. Our River City Grill and Highland Furniture camera showing great conditions. We've got clear skies up top, great visibility down beneath. It's still very cold though, with temperatures in the 20s and low 30s. So a near widespread freeze right now in the hill country. We're down to 25 in Marble Falls, 27 Llano, 34 in Fredericksburg, 35 in Johnson City. Austin Metro, we are seeing a mix of 20s and 30s out there. Austin coming in at 34, but Round Rock down to the upper 20s, below freezing in Taylor and out at the airport. Buda coming in at 37. Eastern communities widespread 20, so for sure a hard freeze out here, but we do anticipate temperatures to be quite comfortable later today. A high of 55 underneath mainly sunny skies, and temperatures get even a little milder moving forward. We'll stretch out that 7-day forecast for you coming up here in a few minutes, but let's take you out west, where unfortunately there are now 6 wildfires burning in Southern California. The latest, the Hughes fire, ignited yesterday morning just north of Los Angeles. The fire started late morning and exploded to more than 8,000 acres in less than 6 hours. It currently stands at 14% containment, and over 10,000 acres have burned as of last check. Officials say more than 50,000 people were either ordered to flee or are currently under evacuation warnings. Over 30 miles of Interstate 5 closed because of that growing wildfire. This fire ignited weeks after 2 nearby fires left at least 28 people dead and leveled communities in the Los Angeles area earlier in the month. And north of San Diego, you can see from this helicopter video that the Bernardo fire is threatening homes. At least 1 person is injured there. Just to kind of take you in depth here, we have a map of the location of these fires burning in Southern California. Within 6 hours of it breaking out, it charred over 15 square miles near Castaic. Like, that's the Hughes fire, the newest one, which is about 40 miles from where the Eaton and the Palisades fire. So the other fires you see displayed here, the Clay fire at 38 acres, the Eaton and the Palisades fire, which are again northwest of downtown Los Angeles, the big fires that we had last week. And then the Hughes fire is way up towards Santa Clarita. If you're familiar with the area, that's where Six Flags Magic Mountain is, where Castaic Lake is, and unfortunately that is now 10,000 acres up there in the farthest north. Red flag warnings continue until tomorrow. We'll of course stay on top of this for friends and family in Southern California.
Thank you, Kristen. Back here closer to home, with our snow melted, the ice gone, Austin Travis County Emergency Operations Center is shut down with its winter response team. Meantime, Austin Energy reporting a minimal impact from our weather. Austin Water saying it saw a few water main breaks, but it fixed them within a couple of hours. The EOC says Austin Travis County EMS responded to 35 cold-related illness incidents. These were between last Sunday and yesterday, including 2 deaths. City will continue its cold weather sheltering through at least today, and says all Austin public library branches will serve as warming centers for the time being.
A new bill passed can possibly change migrant arrests in the near future. Congress passed the Lake and Riley Act yesterday, and it requires the detainment of unauthorized migrants accused of theft and violent crimes. It also allows state attorneys general to sue the federal government for failing to enforce immigration law. The law was named after a Georgia nursing student who was murdered last year by a Venezuelan man in the country illegally. This marks the first legislation that President Donald Trump can sign.
Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick is asking for clear language on one of our state's most controversial laws. In an interview, Patrick said language in the state's abortion law needs to be clarified. He said it's so that, quote, doctors are not in fear of being penalized if they think the life of the mother is at risk. Some doctors previously said that law is unclear, specifically when it comes to how ill a pregnant woman needs to be in order to qualify for an abortion. Worth noting that reforming the state's abortion law was not on the list of interim priorities that Patrick sent to Senate committees. Punishments for violating the state's abortion ban include life in prison and a fine of at least $100,000. Good morning. This is a live look out from the Hill Country in Marble Falls, where we're off to a chilly but warming start to your Thursday. Happy to have you with us as the lone truck crosses over the bridge. Want to get to your news, and a 16-year-old girl is dead after a shooting at a Nashville high school.
According to police, the shooter confronted the victim in the school cafeteria and opened fire yesterday, hitting and killing the girl. Police say the shooter then killed himself. Another student sustained a graze wound and was treated at a local hospital. You could hear the emotions from parents as they waited to pick up their students.
Parents are waiting to pick up their babies, and you send them to school thinking they're safe. And just to be that parent where you see everybody receiving their child except for you, I just couldn't imagine, and that what was going through my head.
Nashville police are searching the shooter's home. The motive of that shooting, though, is still unknown at this time.
The Austin Police Department needs your help identifying a person who they say pistol whipped someone. Happened during a robbery at a South Austin bus company.
Happened on Thursday, December 12th at the Tornado Bus Company on Ben White Boulevard. Detectives say a man between the age of 50 and 60 took a gun and demanded money. The suspect attacked an employee by pistol whipping and punching her before running away with an undisclosed amount of cash. If you recognize the man you see in these photos, please call Austin Police. Good morning. Happy Thursday. A few of us have thought it's Friday every day this week, but nope, it's Thursday. Still got another day to go, but hopefully on this cold start to your morning, you're at least cozy at home and ready to tackle a new day, Friday Eve. Also later this morning, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences will be announcing Oscar nominees. The announcement was postponed due to the fires in Los Angeles. It will be the 97th award ceremony happening in March. Some possible contenders: Wicked, the Bob Dylan movie, A Complete Unknown, also The Substance with Demi Moore, and then Conclave also being tossed around as a potential nominee.
All right, I want to tell you about a hidden gem discovered in an unlikely spot. Person found a document responsible for the framework of the U.S. inside a book at a New York State Library sale. In the 1700s, New Yorker Samuel Jones wrote this message. He was an attorney. It aimed to convince colleagues at the state level to approve the U.S. Constitution at the national level. It includes a rare, full-length handwritten version of the Declaration of Independence. Full-length, handwritten, and led to the ratification of the documents that are the foundation of the American government to this day.
And how this particular document played a critical role in adopting the Constitution and then adopting the wording of due process for the 5th and 14th Amendments.
The document now up for auction. It's expected to go for $2 to $3 million.
Wow, that penmanship is,
I know,
unlike anything I've ever seen.
Exceptional cursive.
It's stories like this that makes me sad they don't teach cursive in some
I
schools
know.
anymore.
I honestly, there was something that my older daughter was reading the other day, and it was in cursive, and she was like, "What is this?"
I know.
Oh, that's cursive handwriting.
I know.
I mean, not that I was ever great at it, but I think it's kind of a lost art.
Yes.
I mean,
this
that
point,
was
yeah.
art. Like, truly, that. Can you imagine writing that?
Yeah.
You know, they didn't have TikTok back then to distract them,
Yeah.
or Instagram
Yeah.
notifications.
I know.
My
Or
journal
text
comes
alerts.
close. There's not as much history, but my journal is like.
Kristen
Get
has
what
very
happened today.
cool handwriting. You do have very cool handwriting.
Let me show you what's going on outside. We are almost to the weekend, and I've got some good news, y'all. We are warming up. Radar is nice and quiet as we start our Thursday together, and our Covington Sellers camera, they're out in high, shows that snow patch that we were looking at underneath that tree yesterday is getting a little smaller and smaller and smaller as more and more of that sunshine comes up. Temperatures this morning, not as cold as yesterday, but still warranting a jacket. Widespread 20s and 30s. 34 Austin, 27 Rockdale. We've got 20s and 30s out in the hill country. I would still recommend a heavy coat just because we're below freezing or at least near it in many areas. But look at that warm up 10 to 15 degrees compared to yesterday. We will continue to see milder afternoons and eventually some milder mornings just by comparison. I do anticipate the temperatures to be in the 30s through the later part of this morning. We've got upper 40s by the time we hit lunch and a forecast high in those mid 50s. So close to yesterday, still a little shy of normal for this time of year. We should be hovering in those lower 60s for the end of January, but we'll eventually get there towards the back end of the 7-day. That being said, high temperatures today in the 50s area wide with a northeast wind coming at us at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. So really not a big wind day. Wildfire danger is still moderate to high. The moderate's the blue, the high is that yellow color you see there. Still looking at some drier air. In fact, because I said we've got a northeast wind, it's because of a cold front coming through and that drier air gets reinforced. That's why you're seeing wildfire danger not in the low category, but kind of creeping up towards that moderate. It's a very silent cold front. It's not going to do anything for us in the way of cooling our temperatures dramatically or giving us any rain, but it has moved through. Good air quality expected today and tomorrow. Sky is looking very quiet other than a few high clouds. We've got plenty of sunshine to look forward to today, and we'll do the same thing for tomorrow. Friday, I think, looking really nice. Temperatures a little warmer, and we're still seeing plenty of sunshine. So when does this change? Late Saturday. We've got some moisture coming up that I think could bring us a few spotty showers late. It's more likely we get some rain in here on Sunday. Drier skies on the Monday time frame here. Despite this computer showing a little bit more, I think Monday will be a lull before late Tuesday and Wednesday. There's actually going to be a storm system coming out of the west. So you can already see that high mountain snow in New Mexico by Tuesday. That I think will bump our rain chances up Wednesday into Thursday of next week. So 7-day forecast shows dry and sunny skies over the next 2 days, highs in the 50s, still near to below freezing tonight, and then one more night, Friday night into Saturday morning, before we see these temperatures stay above freezing at the nighttime and in the afternoon with highs in the 50s. Again, we're struggling to get up to normal, but I think Tuesday we'll get there. And then some of these rain chances start late Saturday, continue Sunday, and then again late Tuesday into Wednesday. But obviously temperatures warm enough to keep this just plain old rain. Tom?
Thank you, Kristen. President Donald Trump's latest executive order could have a major impact here in Texas. The latest says it, quote, suspends the physical entry of aliens engaged in an invasion of the United States through the southern border. Video coming out of South Texas shows migrants being loaded on and off buses around the border. The order allows a number of departments to, quote, take all necessary action to immediately remove illegal aliens across the southern border of the United States. Comes alongside the shuttering of the CBP-1 app. Now, migrants use that to schedule immigration hearing appointments. Meantime, more troops are heading to the Texas border. Officials say the Pentagon could be sending as many as 1,500 soon. These steps could, or do, I should say, have the support of Texas Senator John Cornyn.
I think it's a new day, and we're going to see a whole lot less illegal immigration at the border thanks to President Trump.
The troops are expected to be used to support Border Patrol agents with logistics, transportation, and construction of barriers. Still unknown which troops or units will go. Back here locally, Texas leaders and a question about whether or not they're doing enough to protect our water supply. KXAN has been reporting on dams, some built illegally for years.
One of the water sources in Central Texas is seeing one of its suppliers go down to a trickle, and a structure built within that law could be to blame. KXAN's Eric Henriksen investigates the impact that it's having on the region.
Amid the warm glow of a cold morning sunrise, water trickles into Lake Buchanan.
Love the wildlife, the different type of birds that we see up there, waterfowl, and I especially love the different type of fishing that's available in the lake.
This KXAN viewer, who wished to remain anonymous, says the lake they love is changing. 2 years ago,
First noticed the back of Beaver Creek didn't have any water in it, even after we started receiving rains.
one of many tributaries that feeds Lake Buchanan, Beaver Creek used to be an ideal fishing spot.
And I noticed that there was some kind of impoundment up above these rocks.
According to our KXAN viewer, water used to flow freely through this area. Now it's down to a trickle. Meanwhile, on the other side of the structure, satellite imagery shows water being held back. A check with the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality and Texas Parks and Wildlife shows no dam on record on Beaver Creek. So we followed the creek upstream, coming to the edge of a private property line and spotted the structure. The structure, while not a dam, is likely a water crossing. It's one of 4 structures built along the waterway. Further upstream, 3 dams on Wildcat, Indian, and Owl Hollow lakes. The landowner, who declined to comment for this story, has permits for all 3 dams, while the crossing on Beaver Creek does not.
Do they meet the criteria that where they're required to be permitted?
State Senator Pete Flores represents Burnett County, where Beaver Creek resides. He is also a member of the Texas Senate's Water, Agriculture, and Rural Affairs Committee. For a structure to require a permit, it must hold back 200 acre-feet of water and be taller than 6 feet. Is there a way to kind of define the law a little more clearly when it comes to those sort of crossings?
Every one of them is going to be a separate case. They're not all going to be the same.
Senator Flores says an investigation by the TCEQ is needed to make this determination.
The process does work. It may not be as quick as some people would like.
The former game warden says the best way to prevent future dams is educating people on what is allowed in Texas. This would require state agencies to get involved in these efforts. Are you willing to take that action to reach out to those agencies?
Oh, absolutely.
As for Beaver Creek, water still flows, albeit slowly.
Such a beautiful, pristine area, and I'm concerned shutting off the water in this area will not only hurt Beaver Creek, it will hurt the entire lake.
In Burnett County, Eric Henriksen, KXAN Investigates.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Texas and Tennessee tonight, 7 o'clock, not 8 o'clock. It's a schedule change because LSU was supposed to travel and play South Carolina tonight. They couldn't because of weather. So Texas and Tennessee moves into that 7 o'clock ESPN window at Moody Center. Longhorns led by the dynamic backcourt of Madison Booker and Rory Harmon, looking for back-to-back wins over ranked opponents tonight. Harmon, Taylor Jones, those are some of the mainstays. And then there's Leah Moore. When she's good, she is all conference. Problem has been that knee injury, tendonitis, in and out of the lineup, in and out of practice. But when she can go and finds that extra gear, she can be a big difference maker for the Horns.
When she's feeling good and spry, you know, when she's got a little pep in her step, she's makes us different. What that kid does to try to allow herself to be the best she can be right now is amazing. I appreciate her so much, to know what she's going through, to know what she has done to help her, to give herself a chance. Yeah, she makes a big difference. I'm excited for her because I think she is feeling good. It's obviously showing in her play, and she brings a lot to the table.
The men will take on the Aggies Saturday at Moody. Last night, A&M at Ole Miss. Chris Beard's club ranked 16th, A&M 13th. What a crazy finish. Ole Miss led throughout, but Manny Obaseki with the 3 with 12.5 seconds to go for the lead. Ole Miss with a chance. They choose not to call the timeout, get a decent look, doesn't go, and the Aggies steal one on the road to win it by 1 point. That game Saturday, 1:30 at Moody Center. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Roger. Coming up, a look at the sobering statistics when it comes to moms and their health. If you're listening on the KXAN Today podcast, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us. We hope you will join us for that story on air, or you can always find our stories on KXAN.com.